There's nobody in. There's nobody in here at the moment.
How do you know when someone's... All right, there. Ooh.
Perhaps I'm better off with that light on as well.
It's like a mirror, isn't it? So I'm now on this side.
I know.
Strange, isn't it?
It's weird because you go to do something and you think, oh no, it's not there. You do realise this has all been recorded. What we're saying.
There's evidence that can be used against you.
Well, it doesn't look like anyone wants to join me tonight. Normally, I've got people waiting.
Perhaps people don't like stout. I find that hard to believe.
So you think you look that way and you look that way.
I know, it confused me.
Good evening. Good evening, Mark. Nice to see you there in the chat. You're the first person in tonight. So we'll get a few more and I'll start going a bit. I've got a friend with me tonight, Mark.
Hello.
Steve, a fellow boater, who's going to be trying some of the beers with me tonight. So there's going to be two of us talking about them tonight. We'll see what we come up with. So somebody else joins us, shall we? Otherwise, it's going to be, might as well have a Zoom call. Well, I'll go through what we're drinking tonight, and I'll go through the order I'm going to do them in, actually. So the first beer we're going to have tonight is by Hobgoblin. It's their stout. I've never had this one before. It's new to me, although I might have had it once. Not sure. Anyway, I bought them just recently, and I didn't even know Hobgoblin makes stouts. So that's going to be the first one. I'm going to give you a reason why I'm going to start off with that one. Number one, it's the weakest, I think, 4.1. And I think it's going to have the least flavours. May sound silly, but this is 4.1 as well. This is another Hobgoblin, and this is called their Dark Stout. If the light can pick that up properly, so you can see that. So this is a Dark Stout, which I thought if that one's probably a bit heavier than that one, it'd be a good one to follow on. And this one is by, I don't even know who it's by, brewed in the UK in partnership with Hall and Woodhouse. Okay, well, this one's 5.2 anyway, and this is a coffee stout. So obviously this will have more lingering flavours to it with the coffee in it. So that's why I think we'll do that one last. Otherwise, make all the others taste of coffee. So let's get to it, shall we? Oops, making a lot of noise there.
I think Hobgoblin was they taken over by Marston's, so they must now be made by Carlsberg.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Steve. Yeah,
I think pretty sure that they were taken over by Marston's at some point.
Right, let's open this one up. There we go. Not too much over the keyboard, just in case. And we'll pour that into. I'm using little glasses tonight, of course. And one, they take up less room on this little table. And number two is two of us drinking. One for you there, Steve. I've got a dribble more in a minute.
Well, the head's disappointing for a stout.
Yeah, that's lost its head very, very quickly. I was hoping that'd stay a little bit more intact.
There's not much smell.
I think we picked the right order, by the way. Well, I have. So I think that's got a lot less go to it probably than the other two. Let's just check and see what we got in the. Congratulations on Solitude Primary, the former. Hi, Steve.
Hello.
Right, let's have a sip, shall we?
very stouty.
Do you know something? I won't be buying this again.
It's not very stout. It tastes a bit more like Newcastle brown ale or something.
That is very disappointing. Hobgoblin make a couple of very good beers, and I do.
This isn't one of them.
I do like their King Goblin, which is one of their stronger ales. This is just fizzy, which I don't like fizzy beers anyway. But when you got bottled beers, you've got no option really.
It's very carbonated, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
No, it just doesn't. It doesn't really taste very stout. It doesn't taste like a stout.
Do you know? It's Coca-Cola.
There's nothing there. There's no sort of roasted barley.
No.
There's no.
It's very, very disappointing.
No, it's not one I would buy. I have to say.
I'm not going to buy it again. I think I got another one, and I think I bought two of them.
Let's give me a Christmas gift for somebody. You don't like.
I wait until I find a boat that comes along that doesn't understand beers.
I think even my sister would drink this, and she doesn't like stout.
Yeah. Marks out of 10, Steve.
I'm going to give it 2.
I'll be generous. 2.1.
I'm surprised because Hobgoblin, they do some lovely. Most of them I've been very impressed.
Well,
but this is really. I was expecting a lot better.
Yeah, if a 2 or a 3 is actually somewhere around that area, I think is being very generous.
I mean, you expect a good head on a stout as well, don't
you?
Yeah,
as soon as that was poured and it just fizzled out, I was thinking, is that a lager or is that a cider? So, well, blooming gassy, I know that much.
You know what they've used? Syrup.
Yeah. Well, let's see what ingredients they say in it.
Syrup.
It doesn't say. It's Marston's. Produced by Carlsberg Marston's Brewery Company. Witchwood Brewery. Whitney, Oxfordshire.
I bet you this one's produced at the Carlsberg plant in Burton.
Denmark? No, it's their head office, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon this is one out of Burton. Yeah, I can't rate it that highly.
Pour it into mine. Get rid of it. Oh dear.
Steve gets all the dregs in the glass. Steve gets the extra. I'm such a generous fella. Oh dear.
I'm shocked. I know, honestly, I could easily have bought that myself. Seeing it, I would have been tempted, and I would have been bitterly disappointed.
Yeah. I think I'm ready to get on to beer 2. I'm trying to just get rid of this so I can get on to beer 2. Oh dear. Yeah. Yeah, I think we were actually very generous with 2.
I think I have to ask myself, would I drink this again? And the answer is no. I'd never buy it again.
Nor would
I drink it again under any circumstance.
No, if someone poured it into a glass and I was at a party and I didn't know what it was, I might sort of start drinking. I reckon I was drunk. And I'll start going, I recognise that. I don't think I like it. Hello, Nikki. Nice to see you. Thank you. We will take care, Nikki. And I've got Steve with me. Steve from Narrowboat, not Chuggabug. You're from Chuggabug. Brutus Maximus. We bumped into each other again today. Well, not literally.
Nearly.
I was mooring up, and Steve's walking up the towpath, and then I see his boat. But yeah, we bumped into each other about 3 or 4 times this year. Yeah. Steve was with me when I was at Burton upon Trent. Well, Burton, Branston, wherever between the two.
Barton Turn.
Yeah, we had a couple of beers in Barton Turn. Do you remember the pub I went into, the Barton Turn on the Trent and Mersey? There's some very nice beers in there, and we tried a couple of them, didn't we?
did. Porter mainly, wasn't it?
The
Delicious
porter was
and
delicious. Yeah, yeah.
lovely hot pork scratchings.
Hot pork scratchings. Yeah. Oh, yes. Anyway, yes, it was nice seeing you too, Nikki, and as you was hogging the water point. I was going to stop in wherever I was, Branston. No, that was Branston. In Braunston, even I was going to stop in Braunston to get water. And Gary was on the first water point. There was another boat on the second water point. There was another boat on the third water point. And seeing as there's nowhere to wait at any of those water points, I carried on, and I'm now currently at Hill Morton. And guess what? I came past the water point here as well and didn't stop. So now I have to wait until I get to Rugby tomorrow, or wherever it's Browns over. It's really, isn't it?
It's a good fast tap, isn't it? At Rugby.
And I've heard one at Rugby. Yeah. And I've got to try and drink this rubbish.
It's awful, isn't it? It really is. It's not often I say that. It's in sort of lager category.
I can't even drink any more of that. It's going down the drain, peeps. Oh, yeah.
If anything, the taste reminds me of some sort of like cough medicine.
Well, that one went down the drain. I couldn't drink no more of it. I don't know if Steve can drink his or wants it to go down the drain. I'm going to go and get rid of this one as well. It's going down the drain. That's how good it was.
It's not often if something's that bad, is it? But there we go.
I think they forgot. I think what they did actually, that they made Carlsberg and they put some black food colouring in it. It's as bad as Carlsberg is.
They're just trying to use the Hobgoblin name, haven't they? To but they put something cheap and nasty in it.
So, my recommendation: don't buy.
Not if you like stout. Not if you like beer.
That's not what I'm bin at the moment. My bin's full. Right. Let's see if I've done any better with this one.
Let's put a bit more caramel colouring in it.
Oh dear. Well, I'll give you an honest opinion on this boat. Don't I, guys? If I don't like something, I'll tell you.
We don't lie. We say it as it is. It's looking more promising.
Going to hold the head a bit? Or was it going to fizz out? Well, I'll get my notes on that if I'm not careful. Right, so here we go. I've just poured Steve one, so I'm just trying this as well. It looks like it's holding a bit of a head.
Holding a head, but there's no sort of aroma really.
Right. No, there's nothing to this as well, is there?
I tried
I tried a couple of beers with Steve around his boat this afternoon, and
they were lovely.
They were lovely. I bring Steve over here and I give him a load of old crap. I didn't know it was. I must admit. I just checked on the anyone been chatting in there. Right.
Here we go.
Here we go. It's better than the other one.
It is better than the other one, but not much better.
No. Yeah. Wow. Very disappointed. Once again, overcarbonated for me.
Yeah.
You know, I think this is a Carlsberg thing, isn't it? I think they're making flipping lager. I was talking about cheap beers to Steve earlier, and now I think they put 1 grain of malt in and 1 hop. This is about this, you know what I mean? It's,
they use loads of syrup. They've done it in a pressure fermenter for speed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
yeah, that's coming out.
It's dark, but it's not like jet black. You can see the light through it. It's not got the dark. It's not got that intensity.
Well,
of darkness,
these bright lights I have up here, these bright LEDs, it shines straight through.
You know,
so I got bright LEDs.
It's more like
shining down
it's
here.
More like an amber ale, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's not.
Newcastle brown again, isn't it?
It's disappointing. I'm going to say it's in the sort of 3 to 4 category. Well, 3 probably.
I can't give it more than a 3.
I can't give it a 3. I think 3.
3. Just about better than the other one,
than the last one,
which wasn't good.
It's. I mean, the last one was undrinkable. Really, it was undrinkable. This is drinkable, just. But
I can drink this.
It's disappointing, isn't it? It doesn't have the flavour.
That's just not me at all.
There's no mouthfeel. It doesn't feel like a stout in your mouth, does it?
As most people know, Mark definitely knows in the chat that I am a big stout drinker, and not just stouts. Well, stouts and porters, which basically are the same thing, really. They're brewed very, very similar. The way the ingredients used are very, very similar. Back in the day, basically, a porter was a cheap version of a stout. They were called a porter because they were for the porters. Actually, basically, that's what they were made for. Down in London, the porters, which unloaded the boats and the trains and all that sort of thing, the narrowboats, and stout was quite expensive. And porter was actually a poor man's version of stout, basically, is how it came around. Although these days you wouldn't think so. Some of them are 3 times more expensive than anything else. But there you go. How things go. I'm just checking here in the thing. Oh, thank you very much, Andrew. It's very much appreciated. I really appreciate that.
It's so heavily carbonated.
It's just over, isn't it? Oh, better get rid of this.
Compare that to that lovely Trappist ale.
Yeah, Steve spot me earlier when I was round on his boat. Yes, I suppose I better have the extra little bit this time.
Yeah, you can do it. You can endure it.
He had a Trappist ale brewed by monks. Where
from the Cistercian Abbey near Ashby de la Zouche.
Okay, Ashby de la Zouche. I've been past
Mount St Bernard's Abbey.
Yeah, Ashby de la Zouche actually is where the Ashby Canal was originally planned to end. It never actually reached Ashby de la Zouche. It finished a little bit short. And one day's time, the plan was that the Ashby Canal would join up with the Leicester arm.
Yes, that was the plan.
The Leicester arm at Ashby. It's when you go down the Leicester, you actually get very close to Ashby de la Zouche. It's literally on your left. Going down, it's on your left. It's past Montsorrel, isn't it? It's past that area. I was just trying to remember in my own brain. Steve's been everywhere 100 times, so he's better.
I won't go up the Ashby again. It's too shallow.
It's too shallow for me. This year, can you imagine? Because the Ashby Canal is the same as the Coventry Canal for level. It's all one huge pound, and we were scraping bottom on the Coventry Canal. So what it's been like up the Ashby?
Well, the last time I went up the Ashby, I got up all right, and then when I was at the top end, the level dropped by about 2 inches, and that 2 inches made all the difference. I just couldn't.
And since it's about 8 inches, 10 inches down this year,
and there's loads of higher boats on the Ashby, and of course they don't understand that I couldn't move. I was in the central channel. And I couldn't move either side, and I was trying to wave at people and say, "I can't move. I can't move."
Well, even on the Coventry Canal, this year, I was coming down the Coventry Canal, and I moved over, and suddenly I'm like this: the boat's on a tilter, where I've run up onto the silt, and they look at you as if you haven't moved over. I can't go any further. I've run aground. It's not good. Once again, Andrew, I thank you very much, Lee. That will go to be buying some decent beer. And this one is another one. Don't bother with it, okay? This is the Hobgoblin Dark Stout. And I was really, really, really looking forward to trying that. I thought it was going to be something special.
The worst part is, I've got one in my fridge that I haven't tried yet, and I'm not looking forward to that now.
So
I think it'll have to go in a beef casserole.
Yes.
It's a shame to waste the beef.
Yeah. So Hobgoblin, you've come up thumbs down on 2 of them, and I was looking forward to them. When I said earlier on, I thought I might have tried that other one before, and guarantee you I haven't, because I remembered how bad it was.
I mean, I think I'll use mine to make a beef stew.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm going to do with it.
Yeah.
It'll make a nice stew.
It'll make a nice stew, yeah, or casserole or something like that, yeah. Yeah, good idea. I've used up beers that way before. I'm just trying to keep hello here, everything that's going on. Well, yeah, and any questions about these beers? I know you obviously telling you as it is, and as you always know, I tell you as it is. So it's like when I'm cruising, I tell you exactly what I'm thinking. That way, if you tell it exactly as it is, you don't have to remember what you said, because you know what you said was right. Yeah. Oh. Is that what we tried over your boat earlier?
No,
it wasn't.
What was it?
What was it?
Coffee Stout.
Was it that one?
I think it was, wasn't it?
I think so.
And that was nice.
Well,
the one we had with my boat. I think it was Coffee Stout. Because it had the word Stout, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Stout on there.
That says Stout, but I think it had Stout, STOAT. Mine.
Did it?
Called something. I'll have to have a look.
Oh well. Well, at least that one hopefully has got some flavour to it.
It can't be any worse, can it?
We had a very nice coffee stout over at your boat this afternoon. Yeah, we've been on the today. No, we didn't have a lot though, did we?
No,
we had half a bottle each of the 2 beers, and we're having half a bottle each tonight. So, it's another one full of gas.
Yeah, very gassy, isn't it?
I know why I drink ales. That's why I drink ales all the time.
And if I was brewing beer and I made this, I'd be throwing it overboard.
Yeah, actually,
I would regard this as failure. You know what I mean?
Funny you should say that. If I'd have made beer like this at home, when I used to make beer years ago, I'd have given it all away, or use it for drain cleaner.
Yeah, I'd have poured it out.
You're right, Mark. It's very rare I've come up with a couple of duffers. Especially when I'm buying stouts. Now, if I'm buying some oddball things and I don't really know much about, I'm always assuming that the stout's going to be good. But, yeah, not good. Just not good. I wouldn't recommend these to anyone. So, sorry, Hobgoblin.
Yeah.
Perhaps it was Carlsberg's fault.
I mean, it's the death knell to your brewery when Carlsberg take over, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Go down to Northampton past the Carlsberg factory. I've been in there.
Have you been in there?
I did their tour, and I was the only person on the tour that didn't drink. I didn't try any. I went in there with Bill, a friend of mine, and we only went in because it was chucking it down with rain. We didn't want to walk back to the boat, and there was a tour going on, so we went on the tour. That's another story. All sorts of stories I've got going on. Assure you people. Well, yeah.
Oh, it's so gassy.
It's terrible, isn't it? So much CO2 in it. I'm trying to knock some of it out by throwing it around in the glass like this. Try and knock some of the CO2 out. It's it's not if I've had the beers sitting around for weeks and weeks and weeks or something like that, and they've gone off and gone all fizzy or anything like that. I bought them a week ago. I bought them the last time I was in rugby, 10 days ago I was in rugby. If anyone ever wants to come for a cruise, they're always welcome on my boat for a cruise. But I don't have crew as such, Andrew. But I've had quite a few people come on the boat for a few days sometimes. And hopefully they've enjoyed it. The only thing is, if you come on my boat, you have to sleep on the table. No, the dinette here makes up into a double bed. So anyone wants to stay over, they have to use the dinette made into a double bed. As for crew, otherwise, no, I don't have crew. It's me, myself, and I, all three of me. Besides that, yeah, but yeah, I've had a few people on. Sometimes just for a short trip, sometimes, say, for a week. I've had a couple of people on for a week at a time, and I've had 3 or 4 people come on for a day trip. Yeah, mostly everybody's welcome. That friends of mine or whatever, or get to know on YouTube or whatever. People are welcome, and I quite enjoy it. Especially on a day trip or something like that. In the summertime, it's really nice if we can stop somewhere. If it's an area I know and I know where there's a good spot for stopping, or perhaps lighting the barbecue up and having a couple of steaks or something on the barbie, and a few tinnies or bottles or gallons or a real nice pub right next door is even better. Yeah, quite welcome to have crew. But I don't have any permanent crew. I would quite like it that way, actually. Yeah, well, that one, not going to buy again either.
No. I've still got one, I think, haven't I?
Gee whiz, job to drink it.
Well, we were able to finish it, which is more than you can say about the last one.
I'm just going to rinse the glasses again, guys. Be right back. I like to have rinse glasses. You have to talk to people.
Oh.
I've got the finger in my glass. Well, if I put the finger in my glass, I know which one's mine.
Well, I've known Trevor a few years now, and I've never seen him do his YouTube channel like this on live. And I can honestly say he's exactly the same in real life as he is on this channel.
And me, it's a lot easier being yourself. Because if you're yourself, you don't have to pretend to be anything else, do you?
No.
And if you have a few beers, it'd be really difficult sometimes to keep that pretense up. So here we go then. We've got the coffee stout this time. Some for Steve.
My hopes are high.
That's not holding a very good head either, is it? I can smell this one.
Well, that's a good start. Yes, I can smell the coffee. And a sort of it's like caramel. There's a caramel, definitely coffee sort of caramel.
So what does it say on here? Rich, dark and indulgent. Brewed in the UK partnership with Hall and Woodhouse. I don't know who Hall and Woodhouse are.
Never heard of them.
Rich and dark indulgent with subtle coffee aromas, caramel and vanilla notes, complex yet perfectly smooth. As how it calls it. Know your limits. Yeah, throw the rubbish in the bin or down the drain. 5.2 this one, so we've gone up in the older spectrum a little bit. So let's see where this one goes. I'm just checking the notes. Oh, you can smell the caramel as well, can't you? You definitely smell the caramel on that.
It's a strong caramel.
I don't smell the vanilla. Oh, the coffee and caramel.
There's definitely more of a roast barley stoutiness to it than the other two, which didn't have any sort of real.
This is still not. I wouldn't give it no more than a 5.
No, it's not great, but it is recognisable as a stout.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's got that.
Yeah.
It's got that sort of bitterness. You know what I mean? It's got that roastedness. You know what I mean, of a stout.
Earlier on, when I was over on Steve's boat, as I say, we tried two beers on Steve's boat. And the first one, Steve said it was a 10. I said, I don't give any beer a 10 because I always think there's some room for improvement. So I gave it a 9.5, and I gave it the second one we tried a 9.5. And we just tried 3, and I can't get 9.5 between all 3 if you add all the points together.
Oh dear.
Giving it 2.1. Oh, I might have done because I said the second one was a 3. Okay, I'll give them 10 in total. But yeah. A disappointing night on beers.
Again, it's a bit gassy, isn't it? And there's no head to it.
Never over-carbonated beer. Well, I can't finish it on that one. I've got to find a beer that's actually drinkable.
It is a disappointment.
Another disappointment.
We haven't been very lucky tonight, have we?
Tesco, I was praising you earlier about having a nice different selection of beers when I went in there the other day. You can keep them all. Right.
Well, I think I did very well earlier.
I'm going to go out the back cabin, and it's not going to be chilled because it's not going to be in the fridge, but it's going to be chilled enough. And I'm going to find another beer.
Well, I can't believe it's been a disappointment, isn't it? What a shame. Because the thing is, people will buy it in Tesco and they'll think, oh, if that's what Stouts like, you know what I mean? It will put people off. That's the trouble.
I've got another beer I've never drunk before. Well, I've just brought back another beer I've never drunk before. This is an ale. It's not a stout. I'll get it. So the light's not right. This is Old Hooky. And this is from the Hook Norton Brewery. And I like most of the beers from Hook Norton. So as soon as I saw it, I picked this one up. Fruity and full-bodied, it says. It's a premium ale. No wonder I can't read it. I don't have my glasses on. Sea, tawny red, and that's what it says. Sea, S-E-E, tawny red. Smell
fruity malt.
Taste sweet. Independent alcoholic content 4.6. Family breweries. Old Hooky is a beautiful, balanced beer, fruity by nature, with a well-rounded body, and the suggestive echo of crystal malt.
Oh, I like crystal malt.
I like crystal malts as well. Try it as an accompaniment to a meat dishes, rather. Cheers. Right.
Ooh, pregnancy warning.
Pregnancy warning. Alcohol can cause long life harm to your baby. All right. Keep quiet.
Have you ever been to the Hook Norton Brewery?
No.
Oh, it's very old school. It's one of those old-fashioned breweries, you know, and I think they still use. I have a feeling they still use steam power.
Wow.
I think I'd have to check on that, but I'm pretty sure they still use steam power. You know what I mean? Because they use steam as to dry heating and doing other stuff. And it's very old. It's a very old brewery. You know what I mean?
Well, I want to come up with a beer I'm giving more than a 5 to. And that's been generous, giving that a 5, I think.
Yeah, it's not.
No, I've been drinking it.
I
think giving it a 4 would be
4. I think we're in 4 territory. It's better than the others, but it's not great, is it?
No.
And I wouldn't be buying it.
No, I wouldn't buy it again.
So
that's 3 beers I wouldn't buy again tonight.
I can't believe it. The stouts and
all stouts and 3 beers I wouldn't buy again. That's not like
gassy, aren't they? I can't believe how gassy
they are. CO2. Is that an attempt to try and get into the fizzy beer drinkers market?
I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
You can tell it's a stout. It's got.
Yeah, this tastes like a stout.
It just tastes like a poor stout.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, if if you say Guinness as say around
if you
about
bought a pint of this at a bar, you wouldn't go back for a second
No.
pint for sure. I don't think anyone would.
no, and if do you know what? This one of these beers that might taste completely different if it's not on CO2.
Yeah, you are.
If it was on a cask ale, that might just be really good. Once you get rid of that CO2 and you stop belching every 3 seconds trying to drink it, it might improve it. They didn't, Mark. They did not come from the real ale store. No, they didn't. They came from Tesco. Tesco is one of the major supermarkets here in the UK. Mark's not in the UK.
Ah.
Mark's in the US. And the school, that's Mark.
Oh yeah.
He's been a lifelong friend basically that now, great supporter of the channel, and become a good friend as well. We've actually Zoom called.
Oh, that's great.
Between each other before now. Winter coming up, it'd be time to get back into that sort of things on the boat more.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is disappointing.
Well, I can't believe it. I thought, usually I would have expected 2 out of the 3 to be really good,
Yeah.
and,
Well, Tesco, the beers in Tesco normally aren't that bad, are they?
No.
Unless you buy the cheap rubbish. None of these are cheap. I think I bought them where you get 4 beers for £7, I think it is. And one of them was £2.50. If you bought it as an individual. So yeah, they're not cheap beers. They're not like going into Lidl or something and buying their 50p a pint beer or 50p a bottle beer, which they don't do anymore, but they used to.
I mean, the other thing is, you do expect a head on a stout, don't you? I mean,
Yeah.
the one we had this afternoon earlier, didn't we?
It
had a
kept a
lovely
beautiful
head.
head.
But,
this is just full of fizz. Thank you, Lee. It doesn't even taste as good as the Aldi coffee stout. I've had the Aldi one, and the Aldi one's better than this.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you agree?
Oh, yeah,
You've had the Aldi one as well? Yeah. The Aldi one is definitely better than this. And the Aldi one is £1 a bottle cheaper than this. So I think it's about £1.59, isn't it? The one in Aldi.
Yeah, no, it's very disappointing, isn't it? It's a shame.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to rinse the glass out again. We're gonna try it. This was one of the others of the 4 that I bought for £7. I'm glad one won't want to stout.
It's enough to put you off stout for life.
Right, rinse out time.
Oh, yeah. Well,
You managed to empty that yet, so I can rinse your glass out there, Steve? I might force you to drink it.
It's so gassy, isn't it? It's like I feel like I'm blowing up like a balloon.
You're gonna need an extra injection for that one. Yeah, it's just full of wind.
It's hard work, isn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't just slip down. You've got to work at that. Oh dear. I bet I'm going to get terrible wind in the night now.
I've got terrible wind now. I'm belching all over the place. Right, people, let's go and Hook Norton. Now, Hook Norton normally makes some very, very good beers. No wonder I can't see.
Let's hope we're pleasantly surprised, because my hopes have been dashed now.
Lois, hello, Lois. Thank you for the dark beer review. Stouts are normally my favourite.
And mine.
And Steve's. And Mark knows stouts are my favourite. I've done enough stouts in the past, but I came across some I'd never seen before. And as I don't have any off-the-cut videos going along and this sort of thing, I thought, I saw these last week. I thought, I'll get those. I would do a Beerstream with those. Free beers I've never had before. Yeah, that was disappointing. So here we go with the Hook Norton. This, of course, is not a stout. Trying to pour it to get knock a little bit of the fizz out and get a little bit of a head to it. Right. Nice amber colour, which you expect from an ale. Not a lot on the nose.
Very much, shall we? It's not very hoppy. But let's see.
Well, it's supposed to be well balanced, so it wouldn't be hoppy, perhaps.
Interesting. Different.
It's different.
What are they describing it as again? What are they saying it is?
It's a ale. Premium ale. Tawny red. Yeah, well, I like the way they call something red. I don't call that red, but there you go. It's brown.
Amber, isn't it?
Smell. Yeah, it does smell. Oh, smell fruity. Malt. Fruity malt smell. Ish.
Malty. I don't know about fruity.
Tastes sweet. Well, it's not that sweet.
Tastes malty. It's very malty.
Taste the malts. Taste the malts.
I can taste the crystal malt in it. And,
definitely.
Very strong crystal malt taste.
Yeah. Definitely taste the crystal malt, and it is really coming through on the back end big time. A little bit of sweetness right on the far end of the taste. It's the best out of the four, I can assure you of that much.
It's definitely it's way ahead of the others.
Yeah.
That would be saying much, would it?
No, it still doesn't come in at a 9 or a 10. It comes in probably a 7, 7.5.
Yeah, I'd give it somewhere between 6 and 7.
Yeah, okay. I don't mind the maltiness. I quite like a malty beer. So if I'm drinking an ale, I quite like malty ales. So that's why I'm probably giving it a little bit more of a score than you are. But yeah. The nose, though, it's a little bit coming through now. There's not a lot on the nose, is it?
Not really.
When
they're saying fruity, I'm not getting any fruity at all. I'm getting malty, but
I smell the malts. That's what I can smell. I got stream on and building a kit and editing vlogs on my channel. I got stream on. Okay, Lee. I have to put my head up to the laptop to read the messages.
I have to get the right bit on my bifocals just to even be able to see it.
Mine are just reading glasses. We don't have a wide variety of stouts over here in New York. Craft breweries are our best bet. Yes, I definitely agree. I drink imports most. The US used to much too much carbonation. Totally agree.
I think craft breweries are always your best bet, really, these days.
Well, when I lived in, I don't know if you know, Lois. I lived in the US for 15 years. I lived in Illinois, and when I first got to Illinois, my comment was that America makes the worst beer in the world. I've been around a few countries, and then the craft breweries started opening up, and when I left, I said America makes some of the best beer in the world. So my idea on beer in America changed big time. The only thing you really struggle to find in America is a cask ale. There's a few breweries that do a cask ale, which has got no carbonation added to it whatsoever. It's just natural fermentation gases that was only left in them, and perhaps poured through a sparkler to liven it up a little bit with just air when it's poured. Carbon dioxide naturally is sour in taste. It's a bitter, so it always changes the taste of the beer anyway. which I don't like particularly. I don't like the belch in this, and they're just I love beer without CO2 put through it. And over here, well, and in America, it's called cask ale, and it's or real ale. Sometimes it's called. Absolute total game changer. And Mark mentioned the Real Ale store earlier, and Mark has been very generous and has sent me beers from the Real Ale store. And most of them, they don't add that much CO2 to their bottles. They have to add it, obviously, to keep it so it'll travel, and because it's not cast, it's not in kegs. But they don't get crazy with it, and some of the beers are absolutely to die for. Well, I did a beer stream on a couple of the ones from Titanic, the cherry porter and the plum porter, and Mark sent me 2 bottles of each. Well, I did a beer stream showing both of those. Someone can't stop belching. And when I met Steve at Burton, or
round there
between Burton and Branston, I had one of those bottles left. And we sat on the back deck and enjoyed one of those, didn't we?
It was lovely. It was very nice indeed.
So Steve was remarked about it today when we met up. He said about how good that beer was. And that's one of the ones that Mark very generously sent to me. And we enjoyed it big time, sat on the back deck on a nice sunny evening.
Bottled beers don't have to be gassy.
They don't.
I do believe when they're, because if you naturally carbonate them, you know what I mean, they're not, this idea that all bottled beers are gassy, it's not so.
They don't have to be.
They don't have to be. And in fact, the ones we had this earliest day
were nowhere near. No. And do you know the other thing about the more CO2 you put in, the less beer you have to put in.
Yeah.
Because it's sold by volume, not by weight.
Yeah.
So the more CO2 you put in takes up a lot more space in the bottle. So all those little CO2 bubbles within your beer takes up space. So it's less beer you have to put in there. So it's sold as 500 ml by volume, not by weight. So CO2 is probably cheaper than beer.
It is.
I know it is.
Yeah.
So that's probably why they put a lot of CO2 in the bottles. It's a con. Anyway, people have been leaving me messages. I better catch up here a little bit, haven't I? Yes, I do know. Oh, you do know I lived there, yeah. No, I've been to New England, but or through New England, obviously, Maine and Pennsylvania and Massachusetts. I drove over there. I'm trying to think of all the places I went to over that way now. Vermont, New York. So I went to Buffalo. I've done Niagara Falls and all that. I've been around a little bit over there. My pub stops. Yeah, well, my mum moans to me when I go to the pubs. She said, "Nobody wants to see you going to a pub." I said, "You'd be surprised, Mum. A lot of my American friends actually love the English pubs." And I would like the problem is with going into a pub, if it's really quiet, I'll throw the camera around a little bit. But I don't like to intrude on people. So if I take the camera in with me and it's really busy, and the other problem is if there's music playing, of course, YouTube will give me a strike if there's music playing and I play music, it's regular music from the jukebox or whatever. So I don't film
copyright.
For copyright reasons. So I don't film as much in pubs as I'd like to. Occasionally I walk into a pub, it's quiet, especially I try and get in pubs that I want to film in, like early afternoon or something like that. Or mid-afternoon. If they do luncheons and that sort of thing, I'll try and time it perhaps 3:30 when people have stopped eating and next shift hasn't come in, like the 5 o'clock crew haven't come in. and it'll be quite often quite quiet, and I can have a chat with the whoever's serving or whatever, and I literally always ask, do you mind if I film? And it will be going on YouTube, and I will promote your pub, basically. Tell them I'm not going to get 1 million views, but a few people that watch my channel, quite a lot of them are boaters, and it'll give them an insight to come in. So, and normally everybody says yes. I've never had a no, actually, so it's not been a problem. I like IPAs too. The happiest beer has a flowery finish, which I love. I take it as beer. Yeah, some of the flowery finishes I don't like, but that's personal choice.
I think I do more than you, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
I
You
quite
love,
like.
yeah.
I do like different sorts of hops.
Yeah.
I quite like a very hoppy beer. But
I remember a beer I tried in the US once. It's called Hop Stupid, and it was stupid. It's almost undrinkable. Apparently, it was like 160 IBUs. Yeah, that's international bitter units.
that is bitter.
And that is crazy bitter. When you consider a regular IPAs, 80 to 90, probably, IBUs. Yeah, it was just sort of a beer. Yeah, I never bought it again. I bought 4 of them, the 4-pack as well, and that was in Burcott's in Coal City. I bought them.
that level of hops. I mean, you're almost getting into the psychedelic realm, because I mean, hops are related to cannabis.
Yeah.
You know, and in sufficient quantity, and those sorts of quantities, you're probably going to get psychoactive properties, I imagine.
I don't know, but it's horrible. The stops I make in the pubs. It makes them mouth water. Yeah, yeah. Anyone that watches my channel will know that one of my favourite pubs in the whole of the UK is the Bluebell at Kidsgrove. I can go in there any time. They always have 6 hours on, and around about 9 or 10 still ciders. I love a good still cider, and I love my ales. So I can go in there, and they've always had one dark ale on, definitely always one dark ale, sometimes 2. They have some excellent stouts and porters on in there, and some of the other beers, the hoppy beers, they have some real good beers. And I've been in there many a time. There's never been at least 2 or 3 beers I wouldn't try, and they have things like Welsh Dragon cider on in there, and Thirsty Cross, and Weston's original, and things like this. Oh, some absolutely fantastic ciders. And the only problem with the ciders, those good ciders, they're all 7 to 9% alcohol. So yeah, they're a little bit falling over water, but really good. Actually, I got some cider at the back.
It's a very nice break when you've done Heartbreak Hill, isn't it, to stop off there in Kidsgrove?
Oh, coming from the other way.
Yeah, coming the other way.
I was just thinking, well, you see, normally when I get to Kidsgrove, I've just done Harecastle Tunnel.
Yeah, no. So normally when I've done it, I'm coming from I'm coming up the locks and I'm going up the Mac. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, but I stop off at Kidsgrove, go to Lidl, and then I go to the Bluebell. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The great thing about Kidsgrove, I always moor up just before the top lock. Even if I don't want to go down the lock, because I go down the top lock, moor up, and then I'll reverse back up the lock if I want to go up the Mac, because the mooring there is really good. And you've got Lidl there for shopping. There's a big Tesco up around the corner for shopping. I normally go to the Lidl, it's closer and cheaper. And then you've got the Bluebell. And the Bluebell, as I say, it's... Wow. And the prices are good in there as well. And they do food in there. But the food they do is a very small menu. And what I've tried, I've only ever eaten in there once. What I've tried and what I've seen looks very, very good. So, and at reasonable prices. So, yeah, the Bluebell Kidsgrove, I will give a big thumbs up to every time. And the landlady is absolutely fantastic as well, Jenna. Absolutely wonderful lady.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. We've never been to the pub together, but
No,
I've been there independently, and it's lovely. But you'd never know it was there. It's sort of tucked away
yeah,
around the
bit hidden,
corner.
bit
It's
hidden.
quite hidden. They don't sort of advertise themselves. They don't need
They
to
don't need
really.
to. And the other thing is, there's another pub dead opposite. They're right by the top block, and you got the Canal Tavern,
Yeah.
right on the pub. And the Bluebell is not much further away, but it's up on the hill slightly behind a wall, so you can't really see it that easy from the lock. The Canal Tavern is a kids' pub. I call it a kids' pub. Loud music, lager. The Bluebell, you get young people in there. You get a complete mixture of age groups in the Bluebell, from your 18-year-olds to
Old farts
like me, and older.
Yeah.
But everybody talks to each other, and it's just great. I've walked in there before now. Haven't been in there for months. Like this year, I walked in there, and there's a local in there. I walk in, and he goes, "Oh, Trev, you're back. What are you drinking?" You're just welcomed as soon as you walk in the door. I guess they know me in there. But yeah, it's a great pub. Absolutely great pub. Like the dark ale, so I just like good beer. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm definitely with you there. I like good beer. Never been a lager drinker. Funny enough, when I first moved to America, all I drank was Guinness. Basically, all I drank for first 3 or 4 years I lived in America was Guinness, because you could always rely on getting a half decent pint of Guinness anyway. And yeah, loved that. I loved it when all the microbreweries started opening up. I used to go to a lot of them with a good friend of mine, Carl, and we'd drive off. We drove nearly all the time, and we'd go off and we'd have a few beers all over the place. And he'd come up with a new brewery. Oh, we're going to so and so, Trev. Want to come? Yeah, of course I want to come. So off we'd go and we'd try a few beers here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, I can't remember half of them now. Pubs we went to, or bars or beers or breweries, I should say. But there was loads and loads of them. One Trick Pony was one, I remember. Gee whiz, brain's gone. But yeah, used to love going around out to the breweries.
You got me thinking there when you said
Yeah.
about going to drinking Guinness in America a lot, and I'm surprised in a way they don't use, because one of the things about obviously draft Guinness, they tend to use nitrogen in the thing.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't use nitrogen more in other beers, rather less carbon dioxide and more nitrogen would be a good solution.
Doesn't keep the beer so long.
Oh, shelf life. It's that the pound, shillings, and pence then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's cheaper. But yeah, I drank a lot of Guinness, and I think you'll find that the Guinness drank in the northern half of America is brewed in London, Canada. May say St James's Gate on the cask or on the barrel, but it wasn't brewed there.
No, Guinness is brewed everywhere. When I lived out in West Africa, it was brewed in Ghana. They used to brew it out there.
Yeah. And if you're in the southern part of the US, there used to be two places. I think Dallas was one, and just outside of what's the place? Miami was the other. Now, because Diageo built a great big place not that far from me, at gee whiz, I put the name of the town now. Not Joliet. Can't think the name of the town anyway. Wherever it was, and I believe they were going to brew Guinness there. So that might become the new hub for most of the north part of the States, but I don't know.
I'll tell you what you might want to try, Trevor, because I wish I'd bought a bottle now, but I didn't. I was in a bit of a hurry in Tesco because I've got to take the dogs to the vets. But I was going down the the foreign food aisle, I noticed they had some bottles of Jamaican Guinness.
Oh,
and it might
Steve's wanted.
be no, it's only my diabetes reminding me of my insulin alarm.
Steve,
Kill that.
He's a diabetic, so he has to take insulin, and it's probably put a reminder out because he was coming around a few beers.
Yeah. So yeah, they had some Jamaica. They had some bottles of Jamaican Guinness, not in the beer section, but in the Jamaica, in the continental food or whatever. There was some Jamaican, and I thought, be interesting, because I remember the Ghana Guinness used to be quite nice. I tell you what, they used to drink in Ghana quite a lot, and that was Macassan. Do you remember the old milk stout? Yeah. It wasn't called Macassan, but it was like Macassan used to be.
My grandfather, my mum's dad, that's all he ever drank was Macassan. Yeah, Macassan, a little glass about this big, and put a little bit in at a time.
They used to give it to pregnant women.
Yeah,
and nursing mothers, didn't they, for the iron?
Yeah, it's better than. As long as you drink it in a small amount, it's not a problem, is it? No, drinking alcohol in a small amount is never a problem in pregnancy. It's going out and getting hammered, isn't it? And drinking the spirits is a bad one. Yeah, Guinness was always my safe bet as well when I was in the US. Must admit, if there was only fizzy yellow stuff in Guinness, it would definitely be the Guinness. I used to have a shirt, actually. It was from one of the breweries, and it used to say on it, "Fizzy yellow beer is for wussies." And it was a brewery. It was from Hellstone Brewery.
I used to love all the old Guinness adverts, like fish pedaling on a bicycle and things like that.
Yeah,
they were fantastic. Yeah. The art around
and the pelican,
those old Guinness
adverts. Pelican, no, wasn't a pelican, was it the puffin?
Toucan
with on his beak, walking along with three pints of Guinness on the beak and things like this.
They had some really good advertising. Whoever designed their adverts, was
better than the commercials you get today. Oh dear, there's some junk out there now. I don't watch TV. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm just here rabbiting on about a load of old rubbish. Normal. Any questions about anything? It doesn't have to be about beer, about boating or whatever. Throw them in quick, because we can go on an hour and wrap this up quite shortly, I think. I'm running out of beer. And I didn't go and get another one.
No, I think we've had enough disappointment for one day.
That's right. I could get one I know I like. You reckon one I know I like?
I don't know what you got in store. I think I served you a blinder this afternoon with that Trappist ale.
Yeah, you did, and you ruined the day.
I thought, I think I had a feeling this will take some beating. You know what I mean?
You ruined the day. We didn't have it on a Beerstream. Right, let's go and find another beer before it gets too cold in here. Right. Oops. Someone put their feet in the way. Now, this is not the special one, but I do have a regular bottle of the Titanic Cherry Porter. This is a Titanic one, isn't it? Yes, it is. So, I think that's going to be the best beer of the night.
That's likely to be the winner, isn't it, in the competition?
This one's definitely going to be the winner. It started off at 3 today, and we'll end up with 5. There you go. It's only 2.5 really, isn't it, each?
I can't believe the disappointment we've had, though. My hopes were high.
I can't believe I bought such rubbish beer.
I don't know who the beer buyer is at Tesco, but
thank you very much, guys. Yeah, we're gonna have one more here, and we're going to give it a version. I know what this one tastes like, and I know I like it. So, God, gassy beer to make you fart.
It's oh.
You drink that, or
No,
am I going to throw it away?
squeeze it down.
Right.
I just can't get over that first one. That first one was undrinkable, wasn't it?
Absolutely pathetically disgusting.
I wouldn't even put that in a stew. It would be a waste of the beef.
That's about the only thing you could do with it, really.
I don't think you could. I think it would ruin it.
I don't think it'd ruin it, because I just think it'd just be like putting water in.
Yeah, I don't think it would make any. I don't think it
There
would
wouldn't be any
improve it.
flavour to it. Just be like putting water in, wouldn't it?
You get more flavour out of a bay leaf.
Oh, I've got plenty of those. I've picked a load when I was at my mum's. Right. This one also came from Tesco. This is, as I say, Titanic Cherry Porter. Now, this is their regular cherry porter. It's not their special one with amaretto in. It's not nowhere near as good as their special one with amaretto in, which is a really, 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 really good.
That is very nice, isn't it?
That's the one we had.
Yeah,
wasn't
we
it?
did.
Yeah.
That was very, very nice indeed.
I've been keeping that bottle to share with somebody special that I know appreciates good beer.
Well,
and cheers, Pete.
cheers. Cheers, everybody.
It's definitely the last one of the day, and this one's going to come in. I'm going to rate this at an 8.5 before we even slip it.
Yeah, it's much nicer. Definitely a strong taste of cherry.
Yeah, I've never noticed that before. That strong cherry flavour to it. It's not as good as the special reserve one with the amaretto in.
No.
But it's still good.
It's nice. It's all right. It's quite drinkable, isn't it?
It's actually, I rated this as an 8.5. I'm going to rate it as an 8 because it's nowhere near as good as their special one.
The cherry reminds me of a cough medicine my mother used to get me when we were trying to say we were not well enough to go to school, and she always used to produce this bottle of medicine. And and we'd say, "Oh no, Mum, I'm fine. I can go to school." Anything other than, we used to avoid this horrible bottle of medicine. You know what I mean?
I know the same one. I think my mum gave it to me.
It has sort of cherry taste. Do you know what I mean? I can't.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called. I appreciate Lois watching me. I don't know if she's still here or not, but yeah, I appreciate everybody that watches the channel whenever you watch it. We're going to just finish this beer up now. Anyone got any questions or anything? Say it doesn't have to be beer related. I've done the real good cherry porter review before. This comes in at 4.9%, by the way. But yeah, it's nowhere near as good as that other one.
No.
I don't know if I've ever had this regular one before. I've had the plum porter and the regular one before, which I quite like. But the cherry porter, I think I've only ever had before. And the big bottles that Mark sent me, as I say, we shared one on the back deck about
nice,
2 months ago.
It's a little bit medicinal, isn't it? It's
yeah,
a bit sort of.
And I thought it was going to be the same as that flavour-wise, but it's nowhere near. This has got a lot more cherry to it. The other one, and I think a bit more porter to it.
Yeah, it's a bit too cherry for me. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, the other one was wonderful, and this is okay. This is the best beer we've had tonight.
Oh yeah, it's definitely better than the others.
But yeah, I'm quite amazed how cherry that is. Because the plum porter's not crazy plummy.
It reminds me a bit of years ago when I was a hard-up student, and we used to go minesweeping in bars and things. Where you just get all the leftover drinks and pour them into a pint.
No, I've never done that.
You've never had to resort to that. Well,
no.
I have had to resort to that.
I've never been
amazed how many people put either they either put black currant or they have lime in drinks, don't they? You know what I mean? And you end up with this concoction that tastes very much of sort of like black currant.
Yeah, I've never done that. I've never need an alcoholic drink that much.
Well, I'm talking about when I was about 17 or 18.
Yes, Mark, you're completely right. They're Titanic infused Grand Reserve. That's the name I was trying to think
Yes,
of.
that was it, wasn't it? And that was lovely.
Yeah, that was actually a die for. Steve will agree with that because I shared one of those bottles with Steve.
That was very, very nice.
Yeah, that went down. Oh, wow.
Treat.
Yeah, was that the night we had steaks?
I think it was. Yeah.
Steve did steaks on the boat. Steve cooked steaks, and I provided a beer or two.
Yeah, it was very nice. Nice evening.
So yeah, that was a good night. Well, we had a couple of good days up there, actually, didn't we?
Yeah.
We hadn't seen each other, what, 2 years?
That's a strange thing with boating. You know, you can bump into somebody, you know, sometimes 2 or 3 times in the space of a month, and then you might not see them again for like 3 years. You know,
it's got to be 2 years since we've.
I mean, you know, that's it. You know, your trajectories can be completely different. You can get off. You know what I mean? And then you don't never really know when you're going to bump into people again.
Well, you sat up in the north of England for
I've been up north. I've been for 2 years.
Yeah. So
up in the wilds.
Yeah. Boating's like that. You bump into people you know, and you get to know quite well. It's quite odd, actually, boaters. You seem to get to know people quite well very quickly, don't you?
Yeah.
You know. I guess you got the same interests, especially when you got the same interests in your alcoholic beverages as well, and food.
And I think you have to have a certain kind of character and temperament to be a liveaboard boater, because it's not. Don't get me wrong, we're not. We're very social people and we like people, but we also, you have to have that element in your character where you can cope with long periods of time on your own, don't you? Because boating is quite low. You know, for many people, I think it would be very lonely. I mean, you can go weeks at a time, can't you, without seeing another human being? Sometimes
I think you've got to be an introvert and an extrovert.
Yeah,
to suit the circumstances.
You're not going to mind your own company. I think we see a lot of boaters start and the first winter they have, and that's it. They're selling their boat in the spring because they can't cope with the isolation and the fact that they're sort of maybe iced in somewhere and it's they're middle of nowhere and there's nobody to talk to.
Actually, this is a big outlet for me in the winter, because I do a lot of live streams in the winter. I normally do about one a week in the winter time, be a Beerstream. Actually, I quite often throw a cook. About one every 2 weeks or so, I do a live stream in the winter, and it's a great way of actually. I know you're not talking to people, but you're talking to people, and people put questions in. Yeah, so that's really, really good.
You're getting a response. Yeah, I mean, I talk like no end to my dog, but she's deaf as a post, and I never get a response.
Those are on my Christmas gift. They're definitely Titanic Grand Reserve and the Grand Reserve ones. Oh wow,
they were very nice.
There's a die for, aren't they? They're a couple of the best beers I've ever had in my life. Out of bottles. Now, to get a really good beer out of a bottle, it's got to be really special because the CO2 still added to them. The some of the car scales I've had, and you just to die for. Some of them, yeah. I had a couple the other night. The Admiral Nelson at Braunston.
Oh yes, yeah. The last time I was there, I think it had just changed ownership.
Yes, it's under new ownership right now.
Craig, hadn't it?
Craig is the current owner, I believe.
Yeah,
it's a new guy in there. I was speaking to him, as you do. Bit pricey in there though. It was £4.80, I think, for a pint of Old Original in there.
I've been to what was that? And the one at the top of the hill in Braunston, is it the Wheat Sheaf?
Wheat Sheaf, yeah.
I think I've been there.
You got the if you start at the bottom of the hill and you start off at the boathouse,
yes,
and you walk up across the road, up past the church, and you got the plough.
The plough, yeah, I've been to the plough.
Then you walk on up the hill and you got the Wheat Sheaf just before you get to the fish and chip shop.
Yes, I like that fish and chip shop as well, and the Wheat Sheaf's nice.
And the butchers.
If
you've got a mortgage to take out, a little bit pricey, the butchers in Braunston, but the quality is to
Oh
die
yeah,
for.
it is lovely. There's
Yeah.
some beautiful meat,
Yeah.
isn't there? And
Yeah.
sausages and
Yeah.
stuff. Oh,
Just like actually when we were at Arawas,
yeah,
or however you pronounce it.
yeah. Very good butcher there.
Yeah.
You bought some steaks and stuff.
I
didn't
bought
you?
all sorts in there. I spent 50 quid in there.
I was there one Christmas. It was lovely, and I got all
But
kinds of meats. I bought some steak and kidney. I made a beautiful steamed steak and kidney pudding. Oh,
I've still got some of it in the freezer.
Hmm?
I got some diced lambs in there,
yeah.
and that I've still got in the freezer. That's going to be a lamb stew coming up when it's a nice cold day. Thank you very much, Lee. I appreciate that. Yeah, the live streams are, well, tonight was a bit different. It's nice to do it with somebody, sort of a different input. Steve poking his head around the corner there.
I'm here. I'm just off the camera, but I'm. I struggle to see the screen with my eyesight. You know, I've got bifocals now.
I've just got bottle bottoms. Yeah, so anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up, I think. It's I mean, well, where are we at? 9:15 and gone. I'm gonna wrap it up. Absolutely fantastic. Everybody come and join me tonight. I really appreciate it. It was great to do it with company as well, and you could get a true opinion of the beers because we both agreed on how crap most of them were.
I'm afraid, unfortunately, that is true. I can't. You know, I was so surprised as well. I had very high hopes.
So was I.
You know, I was really looking forward to it. I thought, oh, this is going to be a real treat. You know, and what a disappointment! It's such a shame.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to bring it to an end. I need to go and find the little boys' room very shortly. So it's a good time to wrap it up. I can only take so much liquid inside me. I'm getting old. So yeah, big appreciation. Great time. Thank you very much, Mark. I really appreciate you coming here. Really appreciate everything you do for me. Yeah, I guess it's time to end this stream. I guess I better end it in the traditional way, hadn't I? Thank you very much for watching. Trevor out. Oh, I'll find out as they end the stream. End stream.
End stream. End stream.
End.